Salutations, Snowbound soldiers. Automatic here for Automatic Games. Thanks for joining me for Season 1, Episode 7 of my XCOM 2 series. In our previous installment, we began investigating a signal apparently related to the late Dr. Raymond Shen. Unfortunately, we were interrupted mid-scan and had to address an evolving issue out of Vancouver. Bravo Squad did just that, incurring a casualty along the way, and that was J-Bone. And in fact, she's still recovering from her injuries. And that got me thinking I'd like to cut down on the hospitalization stays that our soldiers have to undergo. And to that end, I want to initiate construction of an advanced warfare center. In fact, that will serve as like a more advanced infirmary, and it will also allow us to respec our soldiers at will. So, here we go.
Commander, we've pushed our current power systems to the limit. We don't have any capacity to spare, which means we can't expand our facilities further.
Yeah, we've reached our limits, and we're still working our way toward that power coil. That's just the route I want to go with this, even though it's a risk. Now, we're getting word of a black market, and though I do want to continue the scan of that signal, we have some valuable gear I want to unload. So we're going to take a little detour to the black market.
The outcome of this research can only further our advances, Commander.
Well, let's talk about these freaks.
I've often wondered how the aliens could conceive of such a being. Is there another world out there, filled with these shape-shifting creatures? Or are they merely another construct of alien genetic tampering?
An entire planet's worth of faceless? The notion is absolutely irresistible. It's not. But a mimic beacon is. It's a veritable decoy we can deploy in the field and force the enemy to direct their attention toward it. So that's a good deal. And Ty is telling us that we can both initiate and conclude a sectoid autopsy immediately, so we'll do that.
Though I was never witness to one myself, countless observers attest to the existence of a much smaller, less intimidating variant of the sectoid that took part in the original invasion. In the time since, this new being, the product of clear genetic manipulation, is now a familiar face to our forces operating in the field.
When will they start wearing clothes?
The sectoid's rapid physical evolution over the past 20 years is a testament to both the aliens' mastery of genetic engineering and their pursuit of advancement, regardless of the risks.
I mean, how evolved are they? They're smart, but they don't wear smart spring outfits or anything of that nature. Now we can build a mind shield. Let's do a Stun Lancer autopsy next.
The Advent Stun Lancer was apparently outfitted with the intention of serving as a civilian peacekeeping unit within the city centers. Although they are equipped with weapons capable of administering non-lethal blows, recent reports indicate an increasingly aggressive stance taken by these units.
And they dress to kill. They do.
Without access to refined fossil fuels, power is difficult to come by outside the cities. Even among the staunchest of anti-alien dissidents, recovered Advent equipment is highly coveted.
Yeah, well, we've got power supply problems of our own. I can sympathize. But anyway, back to this black market. We've just about concluded our scan. Excellent.
Market is open.
And yeah, the gear we want to unload is the gear that Van Dorn came equipped with. Specifically, the Hellweave and the Ray suit. Excellent stuff, but frankly, we don't deserve it. We haven't... Oh, excuse me. We haven't researched that stuff. So, you know, I'm kind of above using it, but I'm not above selling it. I mean, after all, we do need supplies. And in fact, in terms of purchases, we're going to go ahead and, yeah, we're going to purchase some supplies too. And the one thing I would like to buy is the services of another engineer, but apparently there's not one for sale here at the black market. But I wonder, if there's a recruitable engineer back at the headquarters. So again, We're distracted from the signal. We're going to go back to headquarters.
Welcome, Commander.
Hell yeah. Yep. Cameron Cook. Welcome aboard, Cameron Cook. We definitely need a second engineer. I mean, with these construction initiatives, we have to speed it up. We've got to get to that power coil ASAP. And I'd love to finish that Advanced Warfare Center as soon as possible, too. And so, we're gonna assign Cook to that, and he'll cut down on the time that it takes to build this facility. And then when he's done, we'll have him help clear out more chambers and get down to that power coil. So yeah, this is important, as far as I can tell, anyways. It's definitely it's needed personnel. If we can get a third engineer, great. Guess we'll just have to keep our eyes open. You know, maybe we'll go ahead and purchase another squad. No, we're not going to yet. In time, we will get a larger squad size.
Welcome, Commander.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. We basically just made it so if we scan headquarters, it'll speed up construction. In other words, they'll be sending engineers aboard to help us.
Interesting discoveries, Commander.
That's contingent upon the Avenger remaining docked at Resistance headquarters. Which is fine. I'm more or less convinced that Dr. Shen's signal ain't going anywhere. And so we can suffer these distractions, much to Lily Shen's chagrin, one would assume, but whatever.
Although Advent clearly intended for these units to be their means of dealing with any unruly civilians within the city centers, it seems they have come to rely on more brutal means of pacification in the time since.
You think? I consider the Stun Lancers to be the suicidal wing of Advent forces. And now we can construct the Arc Blade. And in terms of research, we'll look into magnetic weapons.
I foresee a number of valuable applications stemming from this technology. I'll have a report assembled as soon as the research is complete.
Granted, it will take 14 days, but it'll be well worth it considering the output and damage we'll be able to inflict upon the enemy. Well worth it indeed. So yeah, we are going to continue our scan in this area, which amounts to us being docked at Resistance headquarters.
Maximum power consumption.
And as you can see, we are slowly but surely spring cleaning our way down to that exposed power coil. So we'll begin clearing out this next chamber, whistling while we work. And yeah, we'll keep scanning. Ultimately, I just want to get past the hump that is the Advanced Warfare Center. And okay, I should have known something would crop up. We have the opportunity to conduct a supply raid on an Advent train. We're going to do that. So as you can see, we've assembled Charlie's squad commanded by Frederick Wydra, codenamed Corky. And he'll be taking the basic kit into the field today. He, as usual, will be joined by John Clayton, codenamed CJ, who will be putting the Hunter's axes to the test. And then, of course, we're also taking along Conrad Siderson, codenamed Cider. His sniper rifle will be equipped with a scope. And, of course, we're taking Thomas Trumpet, codenamed Titanium. He'll be taking the med kit, seeing as he is the combat medic. And finally, Troy Black, codenamed Blackwidow, who will be equipped with an extended magazine and the frost bomb. Now, as you can see, Charlie's squad is outfitted for winter climate. And Charlie, you may board when ready.
Ranger deploy.
Squad green to deploy.
Copy that, Firebrand. You are clear to descend.
Resistance forces hit an Advent train in this area pretty hard, and the aliens still haven't managed to get it moving again. There should be plenty of valuable tech on board that thing. So we're moving to eliminate any hostiles in this area. Secure whatever cargo you can find.
Alright. So it's basically just secure the cargo. While the Advent forces work with great effort to get their train moving again. And that isn't going to happen, of course. And again, the screen's kind of choppy. But, again, this is a veritable loading screen. That's what it basically is. Charlie is boots down. We've touched on Corky's cavalier approach in a previous episode. And indeed, the running order is go, go, go. And running is probably the appropriate term. Titanium's going to move halfway up just to get a lay of the land ahead.
Clear those turrets. We're still not entirely sure if they're fully automated or remotely triggered.
What difference does it make? We've got one turret and one stun lancer on the grid. Here Corky will demonstrate, not even going for cover, he's just moving the full extent of his move. Call it reckless abandon if you want, it's just how he operates.
Of human DNA. These creatures, once operating under the guise of Fen men, now show their true form. A purely reptilian species.
No reason for them to hide. The aliens don't need an infiltration unit anymore.
As Dr. Tygan points out, the Vipers in Enemy Unknown were the Thin Men, but they actually date back to UFO defense. I think they were called Snake Men in that. And so we're talking an ancient race here. But if we were to reference the soldiers' files, as we did early on in this series, Titanium, his file says that his childhood sweetheart was actually killed by one of these Vipers, and so this guy's got no love for that species. And I would assume he hopes to bag himself one or two on this op. And Charlie just continues to press forward at full speed. What can I say? Corky is an audacious commander. That's just it. And do these guys, do they like that? No, not particularly. I mean, they would prefer not to be exposed, but the members of Charlie they're loyal men, so they follow orders. And Corky runs a tight ship. He will dress down any soldier that is non-compliant. Much to the relief of Charlie, he is now ordering them into cover, essentially bringing Charlie into ambush setup positions. And in terms of our enemies, there is one Viper, one Stun Lancer, and the 2 trained turrets, so 4 on the grid. Charlie outnumbers them. I spoke too soon. We're adding 3 to the grid. That'll bring the Advent numbers up to 7. 1 Advent officer, 1 Viper, 2 Stun Lancers, 1 Trooper, and of course the 2 turrets. So at this point, Charlie is outnumbered, but does that give the squad leader pause? Doubtful. And the Viper and Stun Lancer are walking right into a well-laid trap. But when sprung, will it be effective? Cider will open up. 1 excellent shot takes down the Stun Lancer. Corky and CJ take down the Viper.
Target disabled.
The remainder of Advent forces spring into action. Titanium's going to open up on the officer, and he does damage. Blackwidow firing at also the officer, and he puts him down.
Hostile neutralized.
So yeah, the trap was effective. That leaves 4 Advent elements on the grid. The 2 train turrets, 1 stun lancer, and 1 trooper. Blackwidow is going to, let's see. You know, actually, he's going to focus on the stun lancer, and he is going to decimate its cover.
Take this!
And that'll provide a clearer shot to anybody else that's going to aim at that stun lancer. And it's going to do a little damage to boot. So next, we will have Cider take a shot. And perhaps he will put down the stun lancer.
Hostile neutralized.
So that leaves 3 on the grid, and in terms of personnel, just 1 Advent trooper.
Overwatch.
Titanium is going to take a shot at that trooper. Yeah, the trooper's got good cover. Corky, he's going to deploy, he'll deploy a grenade, actually.
Bombs away!
This will take the trooper out of the equation. So that takes care of all the Advent personnel. Charlie has the advantage. Let's see, the turret is opening up. Who do they open up on? Corky there? Either way, it's no good. No, they were opening up on CJ. Blackwidow is going to return fire. And he inflicts good damage.
Hit the armor!
Good damage indeed. It's not quite enough, but we'll see what can be done. Corky's going to urge his men forward. CJ heeds the call. He will, he'll go ahead and aim at that rear turret as well. No good.
I'll get him next time.
Let's see. We'll have Cider also aim at the rear turret. And it is good. So now, only the forward turret remains. We'll have Titanium advance at the urging of Corky. You know, actually, rather than fire, he will continue the advance. And hopefully into a position where that turret cannot hit him anyway. Let's see. Having ordered his entire squad to advance, Corky is going to move up about halfway and direct fire on that forward gun.
Get it together.
No joy. The emplacement is aiming at CJ, and it scores a hit. CJ is wounded. Blackwidow, as ordered, will advance. And he too will attempt to hit that forward gun. And it's good. Yeah, it does good damage. In fact, the emplacement's just hanging on. But CJ's not going to risk it. He'll go ahead and advance to the best cover he can see, which is going to be right up against that train, in the hopes that the gun can't lower its turret to that steep an angle. Cider will reload, and then, as ordered, he'll advance.
On my way.
As for Titanium, well, he's actually going to climb up on top of the locomotive and try to position himself so close to the point where he feels he cannot miss. And he doesn't. So the grid is clear. But apparently there are more Advent elements out there. We know this just by nature of the operation continuing. So troops are going to reload, go into Overwatch,
Back online. It's on Overwatch.
in anticipation of another pod of enemies emerging. Cider 2 will go into Overwatch. Titanium's going to climb back down and see to CJ's wounds.
Easy now, soldier.
And so, now CJ has been patched up. Corky will advance.
That's affirmative. That's the equipment we're after. We'll have to do our best to avoid destroying the gear while we secure the area.
As is the norm. Corky's gonna push just a little bit further.
Roger that. Got some advent here.
We've got 3 on the grid. 2 stun lancers, accompanied by a Viper. And they spring for cover. Blackwidow goes into action, but it's a miss. Cider misses as well.
Negative damage. Come on, focus.
CJ moves up. Actually,
Moving.
I don't know. He'll move up by Corky. It's what squad leader would want him to do. Although in retrospect, it may not have been the wisest move. Viper moves up to the fence and she... Oh, damn.
Took some damage here.
She bounds Cider. Stun Lancers advance.
Might need some help.
And stuns Corky. Another one comes up
Who's got a med kit?
and does the same to Blackwidow. So now both Corky, Blackwidow, they're both wounded. And so too is Cider, who's additionally bound. It appears that Blackwidow and Corky are both back on their feet. We're certainly grateful for that. Blackwidow's gonna... Well, he does hit the stun lancer, it's just not quite enough. Damn close though.
Headed there now.
CJ's gonna come on out into the open, and he's gonna put his hunter's axes to the test. First against this guy, nice hit. And now against this bastard. Also a good hit. Damn. We've got to get to Cider. A Titanium. He hates snakes. He's willing to risk not going into cover. Just to get out here and take a shot at that damn Viper.
Only winged him.
It just winged him, but it's enough. Enough for the Viper to release her grip. And now Cider... Cider exacts a little bit of revenge. Or a lot of it. He's going to pick up some gear, an Elerium core, and a data device. Now Corky is going to take down that SOB.
Hostiles pacified.
And where does that leave us?
All hostiles are down and the area is secure. Status confirmed.
Ooh.
Mission accomplished.
That's it, folks. That's it. Well, Charlie is en route back to the Avenger, where plenty of medical personnel are on standby awaiting the injured soldiers, because, suffice it to say, we have suffered our share of casualties this mission. Though, knock on wood, no deaths. We can only chalk that up to Corky's audacity. The way in which he utilizes his squad. Maybe it's controversial, maybe not. Maybe it's a bit of a Custer's luck at play. Who knows? Either way, it's a mission success. Sure enough, 2 wounded, 2 gravely wounded. Only Titanium escaped relatively unscathed. And in terms of his promotion, he's going to go into medical protocol, basically furthering his combat medic specialization. Blackwidow's going to be laid up. Corky. Between Phantom and Blade Master, he's definitely choosing Blade Master. I mean, he don't care much for concealment or stealth. He's too audacious for that. CJ will be laid up 15 days. And much like Corky, yeah, he's going to choose Blade Master. After all, he's got the Hunter's axes, and being part of Charlie's squad, stealth is not their forte. And last of all, of course, we have Cider, the sniper. Let's see. Perhaps return fire? No. No, actually, we're going to go with Long Watch. And principally because I gave Stonewall return fire, and I want most of my snipers to be, you know, pure snipers, not pistoliers, so to speak. There you have it. In terms of material gain, Delirium Core, an Advent Data Cache, some corpses, Vipers, Stun Lancers, an Advent Officer, a Trooper, a wreck of a turret, alien alloys, Illyrium crystals, and much desired supplies. And so Tygan's going to have his hands full decrypting that alien data cache. And of course, in terms of autopsies, he can add the Viper to the docket. And similarly, breaking down that Advent turret. And you know, Corky, I would imagine he is the subject of a bit of controversy among XCOM due to his methods. I guess, well, I mentioned Custer. I don't mean to go on a historical rant, but it's similar. Custer remains a figure of great controversy. You know, if you're an amateur historian, you buy into the revisionist BS, then sure, he was an idiot. If you're a Civil War historian or a Plains Indian War historian, you know that he was just audacious as hell. God, Civil War, he turns back one of the most elite Confederate cavalries in one of his first large engagements by charging, long after it was fashionable, Jeb Stuart's cavalry and turning it back. You know, near the end, he brought Lee's army to a grinding halt near Appomattox and captured more artillery than anyone could have imagined. In fact, so much so that Phil Sheridan gives him the desk that Lee signs his surrender on, with a note to Elizabeth Custer basically saying, "Your husband won the damn war for us." This was Custer's luck. This was his shock and awe. And if you know just a little bit about Custer, you know that audacity, that luck, it ran dry. It caught up with him in the Plains Indian Wars, long after the Washita. But will that happen with Corky? I guess time will tell. I pray not. Anyways, this is Automatic for Automatic Games. I do appreciate you watching as always. If you like this, and if you are subscribed, I'll talk to you soon, friends.